Hola, bienvenido a mi canal. Suscríbete y dar like si os gusta el video. Hello, welcome to my channel. Subscribe and press like if you like it.
Hello, everybody. So today we are going to talk about collocations and how to translate them into Spanish. First of all, what is a collocation? And you might be aware of what collocations are without knowing that that's what it's called, which is totally normal because it's something that is learned for an English speaker in a very natural way. But it can be complicated when you're translating it into another language. So that's why it's good to be aware of what they are. So let's look at two examples to start with. So we have fast food and we have quick food. So the word fast and the word quick means something that goes at an increased velocity. And then later food are things that we eat. So if we look at fast food, in Spanish this would be called comida rápida or comida basura, which means a kind of junk food that you eat, or a food that isn't necessarily healthy. And quick food, so in Spanish we could say comida de preparación rápido. This would be something that you put together in a quick manner so that you don't have to spend a lot of time cooking or eating. It might be even something that you prepared the day before and just have to reheat. So these would be a typical collocation in English. But of course we have a bunch of different collocations with have. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And even though obviously there's other languages that you would have to translate this into, I know English and Spanish, so I'm defending this in Spanish today. So let's go ahead and start with the words that are more in the inner circle, closer to have. So we're going to look at first at have a meal. So have a meal, you could say comer o comer una comida. Okay, so comida, it can mean food, but it can also mean meal. So that's why I kind of put it in parentheses, because you might be able to say it exactly like that, or you might just want to refer that you are going to be eating. So it would be similar to the verb eat. Okay, so I hope that helps you a little bit there. And comida would be the general word like meal for the words breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if we move on to have breakfast, we wouldn't say have breakfast in Spanish. We would just say breakfast. So it would be desayunar. Voy a desayunar. Desayunar. I'm going to breakfast. I'm going to have breakfast. But we wouldn't use the word have in Spanish. And the same would happen for lunch and dinner. So lunch just goes to almorzar. And dinner, cenar. And then we move on to have a snack. So a snack in Spanish, at least here in Spain, it can have different context. For example, in the morning, some people over here have a very, very small breakfast at home. And then later around 10 o'clock, they have a bigger breakfast. And then they have a late lunch at 2 or 3. And so after that, they don't have till very late at night, maybe 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So in between lunch and dinner, they have what they call a merienda. So it would be maybe like a big snack. You know, not exactly a meal, but somewhere in between. And we would call this merendar. Also, if you're going to have more like a snack, then we could say tomar un aperitivo. And also, the word snack has been borrowed, and you can also say tomar un snack, but I'm not going to write that because I think it's fairly easy to understand. Okay, so have a shower. We would take away have again, and we would just put duchar. So have a shower would be duchar. And that was one of the outer words. I should have left it for later, but that's okay. Have a holiday, we would change have for go. So we would say go a holiday or go the holiday. And it would be ir de vacaciones. Ir de vacaciones. Have a holiday, ir de vacaciones. Later, have fun. Well, we have to be a little bit careful with this because if we translate it literally, we can say tener diversión. And if we do it correctly, we would say pass a good time. So it would be pasarlo bien. And now if we go on to have a swim, well, have a swim, we would also change the verb have to the verb go in Spanish. And it would be, go is ir. So it would be ir a nadar. So go to swim. Have a swim. And have a baby. Have a baby translates very, very clearly. So it's a very literal translate. Is tener un bebé. Tener un bebé. Also one of the outer ones, but that's okay. Have a break and have a rest. Well, these two are very similar. They would both translate to tomar un descanso. And that does all our inner words. So now we're going to look at the outer words. So now we have, well, actually, let's talk one moment about have a rest and have a break. So have a break is something that is more programmed. It's a time that you need to relax. But it's a more programmed time. Like if you go to school and they give you a time to relax, or at work. Have a rest is more spontaneous. For example, like me, that I spend a lot of time in front of the computer working, and maybe my eyes get a bit tired, and I need a time to relax. Well, then it's not programmed, but it's necessary. So that would be have a rest. But, you can usually use one and the other easily and interchange them, and it doesn't really result as a big problem in its usage. Okay, so later we have a dream. Have a dream translates very clearly to, very literal, tener un sueño. Tener un sueño. Have a flight is also very literate in its translation. It's tener un vuelo. Tener un vuelo. Have a talk. Talk is hablar. So this isn't going to be so literal in its translation, but it's going to make sense. So instead of saying have a talk, we say have a conversation, which is also said in English. And that would be tener un conversación. tener una conversación. And then later have a meeting is tener una reunión. So it's also very literate, very literal in its translation. Tener una reunión. Tener una reunión. Okay, so we already did have a shower, which we said is duchar. And now we're going to go to have a haircut. Have a haircut, we can say cortar el pelo, which if we translate it literally, it's cut the hair. Now, the hair, you might not even say it depending on the context. You say, when are you going to get your hair cut? No, I'm going to cut it tomorrow. Lo voy a cortar mañana. So then we wouldn't really need to say these last two words. But just having these three words, it's easier to understand if we put cortar el pelo. And now we have a party. Have a party translates in a very literal way. Tener una fiesta. So that one's easy. Once you know the vocabulary, that one's easy to translate. Tener una fiesta. And we already did have a baby, which we said is tener un bebé. And now we have a discussion. Have a discussion, you can translate it in two ways. You can translate it in a literal way. Tener una discusión. Or you can say also, kind of like have a talk, you can also say tener una conversación. So tener una conversación. So, for a serious type of talk. Now we go on to have a lecture. Have a lecture has a variety of translations. For example, the two that we're going to look at here is tener una conferencia. And we can also say have a lecture if you're going to the university and you have some classes and you say, I'm going to a lecture. You can also say tener una clase. You can also say, instead of have a lecture in Spanish, you can say have a sermon, tener un sermón, but it depends on the context. So I think these two will cover the majority of the needs. And I believe that is all. So we look around, it seems like we did all of them. So, why is learning collocations important? Well, because, for example, if you're translating and you want to say, somebody says, I'm going to the amusement park. Me voy al parque de atracción. And you say, tener diversión. Well, it's going to sound strange. It's like if you said in English, have fun. Instead of saying have fun, you say pass it good or pass fun. It's not going to sound the same. They're going to look at you a little strange. They'll understand you, but they'll look at you strange. So if you want to sound more natural, then you would learn how to translate these correctly. For those that are taking an exam, as much as in English as in other language, you're going to want to know how to translate correctly. If not, it won't sound right in a written way or in a spoken way. And of course, that's not going to help you with your marks on an exam. So it's not going to be the same as getting a 5 or a 6, a 50%, which is over here is like 50%. In the US would be like a 70%. It's not the same as getting a 5 or a 6 in an exam as if you would take the time to learn collocation, phrasal verbs, and idioms, and you can move your markup maybe to a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10. So, it's important to take the time to learn these translations correctly. I hope this helps you when you are translating collocations with have into another language. And if you like this video, press like and subscribe. Until then, I will see you in the next video, and we're going to do collocation on go and take next. So hopefully I'll see you there. Goodbye.